Most people wait for the perfect circumstances in which they are waiting for a hand to be taken in their bank account's assistance to be entirely acknowledged, or for that amazing, let me assure you, there will be a burst of energy. Use something there will never be a day when prosperity waits underneath the perfect circumstance that achievement creates. Do it alone, they say, but I'm not suggesting that you keep your distance from other individuals, indicating that in the end, your success belongs to you. You can't wait for accountability. Having someone else complete it for you must possess the bravery to stand on their own 2 feet. Take care of yourself even while everyone else is. Everyone else has abandoned ship. Every creative innovator ought to think about it. Every successful company entrepreneur, someone who has ever achieved a significant. Each of them has an impact on this world. Times during which they watched Thomas Edison himself did not have a helping squad while he was having trouble for making an effort to produce the 1,000th light bulb time, even though he was by himself at his workshop, probably broke away from all of his failed endeavors and unquestionably tired. But did he give up entirely? Let's refrain from talking about being broke at. It's not a life sentence this time to be broke, however, it's a temporary circumstance. The worst thing about this state is the capacity to fuel your passion if and when you let yourself have because you're broke. Why most individuals give up too easily. Everything to gain and nothing to lose, obtaining that influential position I had. A time when I was so poor people who couldn't afford to concentrate, but you are aware of what I was overwhelmed with hunger and financial emptiness, things money couldn't purchase. Contentment motivated me to be more. I was motivated by creative and resourceful people. To work hard, since I've never worked hard before. You understand that you're broke. Cannot resolve your issues, you must use your intelligence to come up with new ideas. Must find a solution for anything individuals disregard since they're too worried about overspending, while broke drives you to become, I'll tell you, worthless and worn out from labor. You're worn out after working all day. Go back to your house after placing the kids to bed, the family remains. And I'm working on your dream tiredness till 2 is what happens when you wake up at 500, have to squeeze in a couple extra things in the morning. Before feeling worn out upon your return, what happens at your day job when you provide all you need in order to make your dreams come true? But this is a little known fact. Regarding being worn out, this suggests that the fact that you're trying shows that you're doing more than simply playing this game while usually the doers are asleep. I can compete in the race for success. Heard some of them previously, and now you're saying, but Jim, I find it too challenging. I'm too tired to complete it alone. And broke, I said, so what if, in spite of the reality, it's hard to be alone? Especially if you're exhausted, broke, and unsure of your ability to perform it, is the strength of self-control and regularity. Not the question posed by these conditions. The question is, will. As you can realize that having isn't the key to success. Less than ideal situations, success is about what you behave in a way that aligns with your situations. It all depends on your perspective, your resolve, and your unwillingness to give up no matter what life throws at you. You gave me permission to share a little secret. I don't know any more successful folks, as opposed to you are the ones who really made it. All have one thing in common, spent some time by themselves, broke and worn out from the journey, but you know. Another thing that ties them together is that they never gave. They understood that being you had to rely on them alone, on their own. And in doing so, they changed, becomes their own liability. Realize that living in poverty meant Because they had to provide value. They became invaluable. They realized that pursuing their goals comes at a price. They wore their tiredness because they were exhausted, like an honorific, or maybe I assure you that it will be simple. It's challenging. There will be times when you see days when you want to give up. I'm curious whether your bank account is vacant. Except in the evenings when you're so worn out that you can hardly keep your eyes open and focus only on your aspirations. But those difficult moments of loneliness, injury, and exhaustion, can the place where champions are created. You distinguish yourself from the others. This is how you demonstrate your identity. Are indeed in the world that was made. As you can see, anyone may succeed if the conditions are good, anybody can succeed. When they're surrounded by supporters, total vitality, and a huge bank account. But it needs a specific kind of to succeed when they're alone, shattered, worn out, and allowing, I want to know whether you're that special. Kind of person, given your presence, how can I'm aware that you're listening, ready to go to any lengths, even? Sometimes it's difficult, especially when it's challenging. Let's examine it more closely. Let us now go ahead and talk about what. In fact, it means to execute the assignment by itself does not indicate that you are without help. It shows that you don't need assistance in order to get started. It shows that AT's your readiness to make the first move even if no one else believes in you. But doing it by yourself entails being your own best advocate means Jim Rohn's crucial success lessons, motivating oneself in the presence of nobody else in the area to finish it for getting back up after falling is what you mean. Getting healthy and cleansing oneself. Going back to the game, but the issue is that it was initiated by yourself as soon as you start acting. As you go, you'll find that you're for long-term success. Working with others, essential. A humorous way to attract attention as soon as you're outside while you strive to create things, in spite of the probability that individuals will start to. Notice how they will be drawn to your drive, your tenacity, and your rejection. You'll have given up before you recognize it as a collection of individuals who share like-minded individuals that appreciate your. There are driven people with grit around you, inspired by your tenacity. But keep in mind yourself that even in the event that you have the support of a whole army, must keep working independently. Attitude. Because you ultimately still possess your duty of accomplishment. Let's now, talking about being broke this is a temporary flaw in the character, the financial situation, but you could discover from the state's invaluable lessons if you're prepared to learn that when you find out that you're broke. Learn the true value of money is worth every single dollar you improve your capacity to set priorities in order to distinguish between your needs and your ambitions are important lessons for you. Notwithstanding, being broke no longer forces one to use creativity when you can't. You have to utilize your cunning to toss money at someone. To overcome the obstacle, you have to be innovative in order to find solutions that some people would overlook, and by doing this, you develop skills because they are much more valuable. Compared to cash, look at some of the most successful companies around the globe. Many of it started in cramped dorms or garages where they didn't keep millions of dollars. They offer beginning money for flats, ideas of tenacity and preparedness to make advantage of the resources at your disposal to make things function. They had the resources available. Because it was broken by the power of eliminating anything that isn't necessary and demands focus on what is most significant. Hunger is caused by it, and hunger is a very motivating factor. However, The problem with being destitute is a transient state. Until you allow it to continue being poor is just a struggle, difficulty to overcome. And each time when you overcome a challenge, you become stronger. Challenge you to become smarter if it's better that you're broke right now. Consider it an opportunity rather than a chance to give up. An opportunity to discover how to grow and learn skills that might assist you for the rest of your life. Make use of your current financial circumstances as fuel. Let your enthusiasm to inspire you to it is harder to think more at work. Thoughtfully to be nice, and let's now discuss the elephant in the room. The price of admission is worn out exhaustion. For success, if you're not worn out, if you're not putting out enough effort, at the end of the day, you're exhausted, not pushing oneself over your limits. However, the issue with exhaustion is that it's not how to overcome adversity about your emotions. It's about your behaviors, irrespective of your emotions. The capacity to work while feeling motivated and eagerly await the real test of character is shown by your behavior when you're exhausted, when all of your being is a cry for help when you need it. You have to go deep in order to rest. Tell them why you started this. First of all, adventure, which is when you must put up with the fatigue and proceed with the transfer. As you can see that weariness is a temporary condition, but the satisfaction of achieving your goals for accomplishing your aspirations last forever, I assure you. When I say there isn't as much as worn out as you feel after completing a job you once believed was impossible. Accept our weariness as a badge of honor. Honor. Let it act as a spur too. You put in so much effort that the cost you're paying for accomplishment, as you'll one day reflect on it throughout these grueling evenings and days, as well as you will smile, since you'll acknowledge that every yawn and every heavy eyelid at each period of fatigue was worthwhile, which we have now spoken about doing. On our own, we have spoken about our financial status, indicated that they were worn out, but the most important one element of the message for today is never giving up does not imply giving up. Suggests that you don't doubt yourself. It does not mean that you lack days when you're supposed to be part of the never abandoning a towel. Suggests that even when, despite those times, those hold on for a bit without giving up, involves understanding that failing is not. On the contrary, it is a component of success. For every failed try to overcome each obstacle, and there are no justifications for giving opportunities for growth and education in order to make it more desirable to think about it this way whenever you fail. You eliminate one technique that doesn't work for you. Get closer to learn more. The way that Thomas Edison worked once said, "I haven't, I just found out." There are 10,000 methods that won't work. The perspective of someone who never makes a donation to never give up is to have the readiness to change and adapt. Your approach to experimenting has to be persistent without becoming stubborn. Instead, it shows commitment to your goals, but be flexible in your methods. You think the path to success is seldom achieved in a straight path. Achievement is earned, not granted. It has many twists, turns, and ascents, and downs its difficulties, and diversions will exist along the mana. However, so as long as you continue to persevere, as long as if you keep moving ahead, you will finally reach your destination. And here is where the beautiful concept that the choice to never give up is you make a choice every single time. If you don't do it one day, occasionally, you're prepared for life. It's a perseverance in reaching your objectives to the person you want to become, so while you're alone yourself. When you're tired, you're broke, which is when you make that choice. Must decide when you need to ascertain that regardless of anything you wouldn't give up. since they are the harsh circumstances and trying times where you have the opportunity to show off what you really made. Want you to picture this moment. Spend a time imagining yourself taking action. Consider that in 5 years, you've accomplished your goals. So think about that you've changed your how does it turn dreams become reality? Feels so amazing right now, gazing back at this same instant in time, thinking back on the times you are. Feeling lonely, broke, and worn out. In reference to such moments, I'm sure you feel I'm grateful for those times from you. Those moments made you more intelligent, as you can see, stronger and more. The ability to constantly persevere isn't just focusing on achieving your goals, is describe yourself and become active in the strength you get is what matters in the process. The skills you learn. You create a personality. And I'll tell you possess a certain personality that has the strength that perseverance is far more important and precious than any concrete accomplishment. Since once you acquire such qualities by demonstrating yourself that you can believe even on your own, you can succeed. When you're tired and depressed, there is nothing in this field that has the stopping is not an option. I want you to commit. Listen, and now, a tribute to a commitment to your objectives and a commitment to never give up. I ask that you pledge to yourself that you will not, regardless of how alone you feel, how exhausted are you, how broke are you, become. And you'll keep going to challenge yourself and work for goals as the only thing that is accurate in order to fail in life. One needs give up. As long as you keep going. To give it another go, you haven't, and you're still. Even if you didn't win the game, you have an opportunity to play the game and chance to win. And I know that perhaps some of you are wondering, but Jim, you don't understand you're unaware of how challenging you're correct. But I'm not sure. Even though you're special to me, I am aware of the challenges presented by this situation. You're handling whatever you're dealing with. Challenges on your journey, but they're not yet higher than your goals. They don't possess more strength than you, choice. And they lack the strength to your own want to understand that avoidance is not the key to success. Overcoming challenges is the aim. It's not about having a simple solution. The key is to have the strength to walk one that is difficult. And that strength that comes from within you is the outcome of your unwillingness to relinquish whatever, regardless of whether you're by yourself, use. To focus on your goals. Use that solitude is used to plan, organize, and work on that, and use it when